So thank you everybody for being here. I want to talk to you today about the history and future of the International Remote Seminar on Frontiers in Social Evolution. I'm Carsten Schradin, based at the CNRS in Strasbourg, a researcher who is one of the 3 co-hosts of this remote seminar. So why does FINE exist? Let me also see if I can make this a real pointer. So what is the history that it came into existence? We all know that unfortunately in the March of 2020, due to the corona pandemic, countries and universities went under lockdown and individual meetings were no longer possible. Normally we as scientists, we visit colleagues at the universities, we give talks there, we meet at conferences, symposia. Instead, most of us worldwide were restricted to our home office and felt lonely and had little interaction. And most of us then did not even know what Zoom is. We only learned it afterwards. And the 27th of May, I gave my first Zoom seminar at the University of Bern in Switzerland. And it was a very positive experience. And I was surprised because I thought it would be very impersonal and very boring, but it was very good. The combination of meeting individual students and researchers, giving the talk, discussing it. And as it was so positive, I was thinking that I would like to have this on a more regular basis for myself on the research topic I'm most interested in. So the 7th of June, I asked Lauren Hayes, a long-term collaborator of mine from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, whether he would be interested in co-organizing with me an international online seminar on the topic of social evolution. So why do animals live in groups? Why do they live solitarily? Long-term field studies, theoretical studies, because that's what we are mainly fascinated by. So this year you see Lauren, he is working in Chile on degus, doing long-term field work. I work on striped mice in South Africa. And we work both on comparative studies on mammalian social organization. And he very quickly agreed and suggested, in addition, to get Eduardo Fernandez-Duque from Yale University, a primatologist, into the team. You see Eduardo, and he also very quickly agreed. So we were a team of 3 to organize this together. So 9 days later, we had our first online meeting. It was not only the 3 of us, but also all our students. And we formed what we call the core group. These are the 3 labs, Lauren and his students, Eduardo and his students, and me and my students. And from then on, we met every week to discuss science. First, we had meetings where I gave a talk, what is the idea of FINE, what am I working on, so that the students of Lauren, Eduardo knew me, and students of all the 3 labs gave short talks. So we started to know each other and our research interests. And at the same time, we worked on organizing this remote seminar, how to invite speakers and how to get an audience. The 7th of July, I had created a YouTube page just to start to get it kickstarted, which went online with an introduction video so that we had something of a platform we could work on. The 5th of August, students from the 3 labs, mainly from Lawrence Lab, but also from Strasbourg, formed a social media committee to got Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts for FINE, because social media these days is very important to attract attention for this seminar and to get an audience. And then the 1st of September, we had the first FINE seminar taking place online via Zoom and YouTube, which had more than 100 viewers. So this here is the schedule. Of course, it was first important to have a nice program for the seminar. And we had altogether 16 talks, and I just want to, where's my mouse? Let me see if why is here, that's why. And to attract somebody, to have interesting people, but I cannot talk about all these 16 talks, it would be way too long, but I want to point out 3 things. First, the first 3 talks were given by us 3 hosts, because we were very nervous. We thought so many things could go wrong technically. We were not experienced with this, so we said, okay, we give the first 3 talks. If something goes wrong, we don't bother, it's only us. And then for all our guests we have, we feel more comfortable. And I have to say, all the talks went very well. We had basically 0 technical problems during all the 16 presentations. We only had a problem somewhere here when the United States switched earlier to winter time than Europe, and we didn't realize this, so we were on 2 different time schedules, but otherwise things really went well. I also have to say, in the beginning, we were extremely nervous. I mean, first you have the great idea, okay, we just do this, but the closer it gets, and then you start, you think, oh my, so many things can go wrong, so many people watch. But I have to say, it really all went quite well. Then, of course, we invited lots of very important, internationally well-recognized people. I only point out a few here. Michael Taborski, he is the one who had invited me to give a talk in Bern in May. So he is kind of the godfather of the FIND seminar. Peter Kappeler, I just point him out because he was also in Strasbourg once for the BEEPs, also very renowned international behavioral ecologists and primatologists. Orkel Holcam, she has been doing decades of field work on spotted hyena in Tanzania, and many other important people that you see here. The other thing I want to point out, and I don't know how to get this thing out. Normally, I can move it to my others. Now I can. In blue here, apart from all these very well-known old silverbacks in our field, we also have the idea, or we want to invite young rising stars that are people that showed significant contribution to science, but they don't have a permanent position yet. So we had with Jordan Martin, a PhD student from Zurich, who has an amazing, already amazing publication record. Delia Shelton from Oregon State University, she's also looking for a permanent position now. Or Roman Liebrecht, he is actually a French researcher at the University of Mainz, who is also now, for example, applying at the CNRS to get a permanent position. So in total, we had 16 talks, were more male than female presenters. We tried to balance it, but we had actually invited more female scientists than male scientists, but more of them canceled. We try, because it's social evolution, we try to be very broad, but because we work on mammals and Eduardo on primates, there was quite a bias towards this taxa. But we also had talks on insects, spiders, fish, and birds, and we try to get it more diverse in the future. So we had a lot of very interesting talks with a lot of very highly renowned people, but we also needed an audience, of course. And here the work by the students in the social media committee was very important, mainly led by Miles Maczynski from University of Chattanooga. They have an Instagram account if you want to follow us, which is run by Cheyenne Smith, also from Chattanooga. So it's FIND Seminar if you want to follow us on Instagram. Twitter is managed by Ching Yu, who is a master student with me here in Strasbourg, and the Twitter account is very important. If you have Twitter, then subscribe here to FIND Seminar, and the Facebook account run by Elizabeth Pope, again from Chattanooga. There's a Facebook group on this. So with this social media accounts and with sending emails to email newsletters, like email mailing lists, like from ASAP, from the German Ethological Society and so on, we try to get people to subscribe to us to become part of the registered audience. That means, I will talk about this in a moment, that people send us the email and they get on the email list. And so far at the moment, we have 281 registered participants from 5 continents and 28 countries. Most are from Europe or North and South America. We have a few people from Australia. Of course, for Australia, it's difficult because it's in the middle of the night when we have I will talk about the time, like Vince mentioned, it's 5 o'clock Paris time in the afternoon, and 11 o'clock before lunch in the United States, to find a balance between Europe and North America. But then for Australia, it's something like 3 o'clock at night, which is for most people impossible to join, but we have some. And also from Asia, a few from Africa. But we would really like, and we did some effort to increase the participants, especially from Africa, because they're on a similar timeline like Europe, so they should be able to join, and Asia. If you have colleagues working here, then please make them aware of this online seminar. It's of course free to participate, and I think a great opportunity also for people from these countries to have weekly interactions. So it is, like I said, 11 a.m. New York time, 5 o'clock Strasbourg time on Tuesdays. We open the Zoom link at 10:45, 16:45 for warm up, and we found out this is very important. First, some people that come the first time, they're a bit shocked because it's open, nothing happens, and what shall they do? But we try to chat here, the host with the invited speakers and some other people together to get some social interactions going. And this works pretty well so that it's not so anonymous, like looking only on a black screen. Then there is, after the introduction of the speaker, 45 minutes presentation, 1 hour of discussion. The good thing about the online seminar is you have much more time than if you have a seminar in a lecture hall. But of course, people that don't want to stay so long, they can just log out. And then also often we have afterwards 30 minutes of general discussion, which again is more sociable, where people can talk about everything that comes to their mind. It can be the corona pandemic. How does it affect your social life? How does it affect your field work? It can be something else, of course, last year about the elections in the United States. So it is really also the aim to socialize more with each other and not to have it only on Zoom talking to a black screen. And in fact, a core group of the audience has developed, having the video on during the entire seminar, interacting before and after the presentation. We have on Zoom normally around 80 people, of which about half have their video on all the time. And these 40 people, in the meantime, they know each other. While the other 40 that have the video always off, I don't want to be rude here, but for the rest, it's like they would not even exist. So I hope they still benefit from the seminar, but I think the people that have their video on all the time, interact before, afterwards, and benefit. And of course, on Zoom, not everybody can talk, but by just seeing your colleague once a week, you still have some social interactions because you see the face, you see the person listening, interacting to some extent, and which I think is quite important. And the audience spans from undergraduate students to emeritus professors, and all of them, all these kinds of audience participated lively to the discussion, which made it a real success because it showed that people are really interested and people participated. And like I said, many of these people then participated every week. Like we have people like Michael Taborski, Peter Kappeler, Dan Blumstein, Tim Clattenbrock, and many other very well-known people that were there every week and participated. But we also, and I would like to make this clear, we also had some young colleagues, PhD students, postdocs that participate every week. And the big benefit, I think, for them is now everybody, or not everybody, but many people worldwide in the field do know them, and they wouldn't know them without the Zoom seminar. There was one PhD student from Germany, one postdoc from New York, Kaya, which people, I guess, didn't know before, and now they are part of this kind of social group. And of course, we also always encourage our own students to participate. And from my side in Strasbourg, Charlotte and Lynn Delany, they participated very often in the discussion. And also because of this, many of the international experts now know Charlotte and know Lynn Delany. And without this seminar, that would not have been possible. So our YouTube channel, it's called International Remote Seminar on Frontiers in Social Evolution. So I invite you to go on YouTube, have a look at it. All the talks that we had are saved there. One can also watch them afterwards. And you can, of course, subscribe to it. Then you get always informed when there's a new video coming up. At the moment, we have 419 subscribers. We had more than 8,000 views, more than 1,300 hours watched, and more than 100 times videos were shared. So I think it shows that using this kind of media can be quite productive and successful. And I also know of many people that presented at the FINE, then we're sending a link to the video to some other colleagues or to some students, and then these people were watching it, and it was also with this bringing some benefit to the FINE presenters. When you see a video with the Zoom screen, then it's a video that already happened. So for example, that's from Daniel Sheldon, the video, and here you have the one from Kay Holtkamp. And if you only see a green slide, like here from Dustin Rubenstein, this is an upcoming seminar, in this case on the 4th of May this year. But so people can watch it live on YouTube, but most people watch it live on Zoom, not on YouTube. We have, for every seminar, approximately 100 people in the live audience, of which approximately 80 are at Zoom and 20 are watching live on YouTube. So how to get informed about this seminar? You can join our mailing list. It's for free to participate. And if you join the mailing list, we will not check whether you are actually listening to every seminar or not, because I mean, of course we can't, and there's no reason to do so. Out of the 280 people that are registered, like I said, it's around 100 that join. Some people always join, some only sometimes. If you want to join the mailing list, send an email to one of the 3 organizers. If you send it to one, it's enough. We share the list together. And once you're subscribed, you get an email when we have the new program, like now for the spring term. And then before every spring presentation, we will send 2 reminders with the title, with a short summary significance abstract, and of course the Zoom link that you can participate to the seminar. And you might get some additional information, like for about what I will talk about at the very end of my talk, how fine can be used to improve teaching animal behavior at universities. Here's a preview of the spring term that is going to start the 2nd of March. So it's in 2.5 weeks. The first one will be by Tim Clattenbrock, a very famous behavioral ecologist who is working on, among others, on meerkats in the Kalahari. There will be many other people that are famous. I mean, of course, it always depends what you're looking at. For me, most famous are Tim Clattenbrock. Then there is Dustin Rubenstein somewhere, Nancy Solomon, but there's also other people that are famous for working, for people that work on insects like Steve Trumbo and Doug Emlen. We have altogether 7 female and 8 male fine presenters. So again, it's nearly balanced. And this time it will be better show the diversity of animal taxa, with having less primates than before, but we have more presentations on birds and insect spiders. And also another very well-known researcher is John Strassman, who is going to talk about social amoeba, which I think will also be a very interesting and fascinating talk to get a broad understanding of social evolution. Now, the fall fine stopped in December. The spring fine starts in March, but it's not like we are inactive during this period. At the moment, a working group of fine meets. These are the 3 hosts plus some colleagues that are in the fine audience or fine presenters that we invited. And at the moment, we have this working group on how to use the remote seminars to teach animal behavior. And the aim here is to develop and apply for teaching tools and to write a technical note about it for the journal Ethology. So the idea is that we do not only consume, but we also produce something at FINE that can be used by the scientific community for teaching. The 4 tools we talk about and how students can obtain a certificate for participation. You know, in France and many other countries, PhD students need credit. And to get credit, they typically can go to conferences. And we identify a way how online seminars can also be used, that they get a certificate, that they can apply for this credit. Of course, here the difficulty is how to check that the people were really there, but it's not that difficult. Then it's about how to use FINE in undergrad and grad courses. For example, Lauren Hayes is doing this at the moment. He lets his advanced students watch a FINE, and then after they watched it, they have to write down a summary, some questions, and then the FINE presenter is invited to join the class for half an hour, 45 minutes, not to give a talk, but to interact with the students and to answer their questions. And I did this 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was a very nice, interesting experience for both me and for the students to interact in this way. I didn't have to go there to give a long talk and then still discuss it. They had watched my talk before and they were much better prepared by this. And it was, I think, interesting for the students to have the opportunity to interact with a researcher from nearly the other end of the world to discuss research. Tool 3 are to provide teaching slides. That's what I will give you some more information now. And tool 4 is science communication, how to use FINE in classes where students should learn how to communicate science. And here the idea is of what will be done at the university. A university in the UK is that students will use FINE, and then their aim is during a semester to produce a 3-minute science video to bring over the one concept that has been discussed in the seminar. So in detail, you will get information about this if you're interested. The 16th of March within the FIND seminar, where Lauren will talk about the results of this working group. And I only want to, as an example, bring here in more detail the tool I've been mainly working on the last weeks. That's how to prepare teaching slides. And so the aim is that FIND presenters can make this available. Of course, they have a long talk, but if you teaching animal behavior, you cannot use the entire talk about striped mice that I was giving, but maybe there are some slides in there that are interesting. And so the FIND presenters have the opportunity, they don't have to, but if they want, they can provide teaching slides consisting of 5 slides. First, a title slide saying who they are and what was the FIND presentation, 3 result slides, and the conclusion slides, which then people could download for free and include in their teaching of animal behavior. This could be concepts like what is territoriality, what are social networks, what is intraspecific variation in social organization. Could be case studies, like I have some teaching slides on case studies in striped mice, or just introducing a study system. And they can be with or without audio. And if researchers record their audio, it has the big advantage that the researcher directly comes into the classroom. On the first slide, you might see a picture of the researcher, and then you hear the recorded audio from him. He is introducing himself and he's leading the students through the slides. And this can be maybe also motivating for the students to hear it directly from the people. But we ask people to provide these slides in PowerPoint or something similar so that the lecturers can modify the slides. Maybe they only want to have one slide and kick the audio out, but they wanted to show this graph so that the lecturers who will download them for their teaching at university have the freedom to use them the way they want. And like I said, it will be available for free download. And at the moment, we are preparing a homepage for FIND, but we're not so far yet where they would be available, but they're also available on ResearchGate. Now, not everyone, but many people are on ResearchGate. And I created the approach and it's called FIND Teaching Slides for Social Evolution. So for people who are interested in this, they can follow this project. We have at the moment, I started this a week ago. So at the moment we have 10 followers, and then you get always informed when new teaching slides are uploaded. Then you would have to go to references if you want to find the teaching slides. They're under references. At the moment, it's only 2 sets of mine, 1 of Lauren. There are several other people at the moment busy creating more. For example, here are my teaching slides about ecological constraints and reproductive competition. They're with audio. And I uploaded them a week ago. And so far, there is already 112 reads of this presentation, which I think, I mean, for me, that's quite a good achievement to get this within 1 week. And the advantage is ResearchGate, of course, is like social media. If the people who follow here, they will always get informed about it. When somebody joins the project, uploads his teaching slide, everyone in his or her social network will get informed about this, might come to this project page and see, oh, actually there's more, start to follow it. And like this, we hope to reach a broad audience of people lecturing animal behavior, becoming aware of this resource, which they can use here for free. So follow this project on ResearchGate when you want to get updated about new available teaching slides. And you can also give us some feedback if there's something we could improve in the future. So with this, I'm nearly finished. To give an outlook, the aim of FIND is to permanently establish an international remote seminar that brings together undergraduate and graduate students, scientists, and emeritus professors that are fascinated by social evolution. So while the corona pandemic caused us to start this, we want to continue it even after the pandemic, because it allows us to meet international from all over the world once a week. Like I have many very good colleagues that I've seen before, maybe 3-4 times in my life during conferences over 8 years or 12 years. And now I've seen them during one fall, winter season 16 times. So many more times in my entire life before. And even though I cannot interact so much there with them, like when I would see them at a conference and have a beer afterwards, it still helped a lot to increase these interactions. And the second aim is to use this to provide the scientific community with resources for teaching social evolution in animal behavior courses. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very